Okay, hi there Nilo. Let's take a look at what you did in this set of essays. Okay, the first one is the cover letter for the summer job. Let's see. Dear Sir or Madam, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing in response to the advert for a network security engineer in LinkedIn. In LinkedIn. Okay, on this date. My name is Nilo Antujar and I have a vast amount of experience in security. In addition, I have been told that I am a people person who knows how to address issues rapidly when I am under pressure. At the moment, I am looking for a network security role where I could supervise personnel. Furthermore, I would like to prevent cyber attacks and avoid hackers from exploiting your network vulnerabilities. Whether I work on the graveyard shift or I lack a golden parachute is not a problem. All right. This is probably not an appropriate sentence here, but let's move on. We'll talk about that in a minute. In my previous work, I was a penetration tester, which means that I had to constantly test our network and analyze the results. I worked at a well-known bank where I developed my personal qualifications and security skills, such as supervising professionals, protecting assets from hackers, and even designing a security awareness program. Full stop, please. Here. Please phone me personally if you need further information. Thank you in advance. Yours faithfully. Okay. Let's see. You introduced yourself? Yes. You explained what type of job you want? Yes, you did. You explained your previous experiences and related skills? Yes. Could you have extended all of this a little further? Also yes. I didn't do a word count, but it did feel a little brief to me. I mean, you didn't talk about like how many years you've been working. You didn't talk about maybe what sort of educational background you have. This is all information that we usually include in a cover letter. So I would have liked to have seen some of that. Okay? Let's see. I don't know that this is the right place to put this. I understand you considered it as part of the introduction of yourself. Again, I'm not really convinced that it's totally appropriate. I think that should have gone in a later paragraph. I'm not entirely sure where, but I think if you really wanted to include it, you should have put it somewhere else. That's pretty much it. You had some good grammar. You had a lot of nice relative clauses, which I can see. A lot of modal verbs, so all of that is very good. Also, you use some tenses like this, I have been told. I mean, all that's very nice, okay? So just a couple of little things here in order to really take this to the next level. Now let's take a look at your task 2. These days, problems with pollution are becoming worse. What are the reasons? How can it be solved? Let's see what you said here, shall we? Okay, so experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether there is a widespread environmental skepticism or not. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't think that there is a question of whether there's widespread environmental skepticism. I think, and this isn't true either. Hold on a second. Some believe that pollution is not extremely harmful. However, I strongly disagree. I don't feel like all of this is really appropriate for this type of an essay. It's not a question asking, you know, some people think pollution is a problem, whereas other people don't. To what discuss both views and give your opinion. That's kind of the way you've created this introduction, okay? And it doesn't seem to be appropriate for this essay. So I would like you to rewrite it so that it's more appropriate for this question. This is a reasons and solution essay. So what I would have recommended is something like experts throughout both the developing and developed world have highlighted the massive problems that pollution has caused around the globe. There are numerous causes associated with, or rather there are numerous reasons cited for the rise in pollution. However, there are solutions available. Something just like that would have been fine, okay? Even though I'm just doing it kind of off the cuff, I think you understand that, you know, with a little more finesse, a little better writing, that's the kind of thing you need to do here for this essay, for this introduction. Okay, let's see what you said here. So this essay will analyze the reasons why pollution is causing disasters and put forward several solutions for this, using examples from the Indian and the Canadian government to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, fine. There is ample evidence suggesting the causes of widespread flooding. There's ample evidence suggesting the causes of widespread flooding, torrential downpours, and even acid rain in huge cities. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, there is a hectic pace in most metropolitan areas, which encourages a massive consumption of fast food. Okay. Secondly, in many large cities, there is not, two words here, never contraction in IELTS, there is not an effective waste disposal system which white and blue collar workers could use to dispose of cans and other pollutants. For instance, recent empirical research by the Indian government demonstrated that 61% of their environmental issues have been caused by the lack of public litter cans. It must not be forgotten that although the Indian government has not applied draconian measures, it is planning to foster environmental development. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the greatest reason for problems caused by pollution is the disposal of garbage in the streets by adults. Okay, so this was confusing to me. Okay, all of this, the widespread flooding, torrential downpours. How is torrential downpour related to garbage disposal? So I'm a little confused by this first paragraph, this first sentence. I'm sorry. You really could have made it much easier, much clearer, and just say there is ample evidence suggesting what the main causes of pollution nowadays are. Okay? And let's see. Central reason, hectic pace, which encourages. Okay, and then I did not understand this at all. Like, how is fast food a part of this? So you never really developed that. How is fast food one of the main reasons behind environmental pollution? You never really developed it. Instead, what you did is you talked about waste disposal, and that, you know, then the rest of the paragraph is about that. So like I said, I'm confused about this first sentence, about all this stuff about flooding and downpours and acid rain, and then I'm really confused about this fast pace of life and fast food. Okay, and then the rest of it is fine, but that is problematic. Okay, let's look at the next paragraph now. Although there is a case for issues arising because of the constant pollution, the impact of allocation resources cannot be overstated. All right, this is also not really an appropriate type of introduction for this paragraph. Okay, let's try to simplify it a little bit. Something more like, despite the fact that pollution is a huge problem nowadays, there are solutions that are, let me try that one more time, sorry. So, despite the fact that pollution has caused enormous problems, there are solutions available. Okay? Something like that is more than appropriate here. This is largely because there is a need for a lightning fast change, and governments should address these issues by investing and allocating the correct amount of resources. For example, if governments start to invest more in environmental awareness programs, the majority would perceive fewer problems caused by pollution. That doesn't quite make sense to me. They would perceive fewer problems. I don't know if it's a wrong word choice. I don't know what's happening here. But I think you mean something else. I think you mean that if they invested more in environmental awareness programs, the majority would gain an understanding of the extent of the problem of pollution and take measures individually to reduce them. Okay? Consistent with this line of thinking is that after the Canadian government decided to encourage environmental education, their problems decreased by 40%. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that the allocation of resources for environmental education, awareness, and even for public litter cans could highly help with the current pollution problems. Okay, highly help is not a collocation. We usually say something like could help, let's see, could help immensely, maybe that works, with current pollution problems, no apostrophe S. In the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that unless governments take action rapidly, the ambient problems will change patterns and produce detrimental effects on humanity. I don't know why you've used ambient here. I don't think it's the right word choice. It is predicted that issues caused by pollution will increasingly grow in importance in huge cities. Okay, so Nilo, what I really want from you is to look up some of these word choices that you've made and just kind of review them a little bit and see if maybe some of them are not really appropriate. I think I've pointed out a number of your word choices that I didn't really feel quite right about. So look them up, please, and see what sort of alternatives would have been better. I see that as being the largest problem. And then, of course, I talked a lot about this paragraph and how the development of your ideas and the progression of the ideas was kind of confusing to me. So what happens in a case like that is that you'll find both your task achievement and your coherence and cohesion score affected as a result. All right, go ahead and correct these. Return them back to us. Don't forget about your error correction list. Keep on going, keep on writing, and we'll be here to see what you write next. Okay, good luck.